real good. I know the players loved it. It was a great atmosphere here, so it was good to get it kicked off the right way.
How did Todd Gurley look today?
He looked good. You know, it was really good just to get our whole team out there today, Lindsay. You know, getting guys like Todd, Cooper out there. Aaron looked great. It's great to see him and have him out here for the first day of camp. So, you know, until you go back and look at the film, it's always hard to say. But it seemed like there was a lot of good energy, a lot of good communication, and a lot of things that we can clean up as well.
So what we saw Todd do today, is that going to be like typical, or are there going to be days where he may not practice? Or
yeah, there will be. You know, there'll be some days that, depending upon his workload, and like we've said, Gary kind of looking towards that Carolina game, we might looking at him as the way we've kind of treated some of those veteran players, and you know, Todd really has kind of become a veteran player as well. So you could see, you know, the workload from day to day be alternated based on kind of what we get from the GPS and the tracking system, and really how he's feeling most importantly.
Darrell Henderson got some first-team reps. Is that to be expected at this point? He's picked up the offense, and is he where he needs to be?
Yeah, you know, Skip's done a great job. Really, right now, Vinny, we're just kind of getting guys in and out, so I wouldn't look too much into kind of the first, the second team. But you know, John Kelly made some plays at the end for us as well. But Darrell's been impressive. You know, he's got a nice demeanor about himself. Very exciting skill set, but he is a young player. But I've been impressed with how quickly he's picked it up, and it's a credit to him and also Coach Pete.
Go ahead. Also, the defensive line, it seems like it's a lot of interchangeable parts and a lot of different skill sets. Do you feel like that's the case this year?
It is. And I think, Vinny, the biggest thing is you know, we'll be able to do some different things personnel grouping-wise. Coach Henderson and Coach Bogardus have done an excellent job. Chris Shula working with the outside linebackers. So you can really see there's a lot of comfort with the depth that we do have, a lot of younger guys, and they're just continuing to take ownership on some of the things that we're doing. And it certainly is exciting to see those guys go to work.
Looks like Sebastian's taken a little bit of a step forward. Is that?
He has. You know, he really had a good offseason, Vinny. He was one of the guys that really stood out for us. I think he's really taken a big step from year one to year two with what we've seen so far. Certainly when you're playing in the trenches, putting the pads on is usually the best indicator. But in terms of a guy that's done what he can control up to this point and putting himself in a position to compete, to see a lot of playing time, he's done that.
Sean, what about just Cooper Kupp for a guy coming off an ACL injury? What did you see from him today?
I thought he looked good. You know, you can see, you know, he's just such a good football player. He's so smart. I think the more reps that he gets at full speed, the more comfortable he's going to get. You know how conscientious he is, and he's only going to continue to get better. But I think to be a full participant at this point is a real credit to the work that he's put in, and Reggie and his staff.
Sean, Cooper was telling us about when he's back out here, he has a deeper appreciation from when he was gone. From your standpoint, middle of the season, it almost has to be next man up, next man up. But today, did you appreciate it a little bit more than normal seeing him out there?
Oh, yeah. I think, you know, he's such a special player, and certainly I thought it provided a great opportunity for some other guys, you know, like Josh Reynolds and like Gerald Everett to really step up and become big-time players. But Cooper Kupp's a special guy, and really, you know, the more playmakers you can have, the better situation we're in. But like anything else, when it's something that you love is taken away from you, I think it gives you that much greater appreciation and love for the game. And he's about as passionate a player as I've been around, and I certainly know I share the same feelings as all the coaches and his teammates. We're excited to have him back out here with us.
He was talking about Peyton Manning, you know, really studying. Is he at that, does he resemble some of that really high IQ, overwhelming attention to detail?
I think so. You know, I've only met Peyton a few times and been around him, but he's a special guy. But in terms of the players that I've been around, in terms of the intrinsic motivation, the way that he's wired, he's as special as it gets. And really, he's one of those guys that you love working with because he keeps you accountable as a coach. You better make sure you have the answers to the questions because he's doing his homework. And if you say something wrong, he's going to find a way to expose you. In a good way, though. You know, it's always positive.
When teams end a season in the Super Bowl, the natural tendency, or you just want to get back there, but you have to go through this part
Absolutely.
to get there. Is that a message that you've had to relay to this team, or do they seem to be on that same page?
I think the guys are on the same page, Vinny, but it is certainly something we talk about. You know, you wipe the slate clean every year. There's 31 other teams that they have the same goals as us, but I think really like last year, the only way that you achieve goals in this league is you produce in the present and you just control what you can control. Everybody has the long-term goals, but you don't even give yourself a chance to achieve those if you don't accomplish the temporary things that we can control in the day. And I thought we got better, and I think there's going to be a lot of things that we can look at to even improve, hopefully, for tomorrow.
Coach,
Coach, Aaron Donald's first camp in 2 years. What does it mean to have him on the field for the first time, and how important is it for the two young offensive linemen getting their first year as starters to have him?
Yeah, to have Aaron out here is great, and really in a lot of ways, for what it represents and the influence and effect that he has on his teammates. He raises the level of play of everybody here. I think it's great, especially getting accustomed to a new defensive line coach, and he and Coach Henderson have a great rapport, but it's outstanding having Aaron here. And, the more reps that Joe and Brian can get, the better off they are. We're going to intentionally challenge them throughout the course of this camp, finding ways to create, some stressful situations, and I think so far they're putting themselves in a position to do a great job. Aaron Cromer does an outstanding job developing these young players, and you can see their confidence growing by the day.
How about Eric Weddle? What's kind of been your, I know he's only been out here through OTAs and now today, but what's kind of been your impressions of what he's bringing?
Yeah, coach on the field, incredibly smart, intuitive player, got great instincts. We always talk about it all the time, Gary. Be a great communicator. He's as good a communicator as I've ever been around in terms of his ownership for how all 11 should look in reaction to what the offense presents. He can play all over the field, and I think you look at what's made him such a special player over the course of his career, and he comes right in. His teammates love him. His coaches feel fortunate to be able to work with him, and I love the guy, and we're sure glad he's here, Gary.
Sean, as you go into your third training camp, is there anything about your approach that you've changed?
I wouldn't say there's anything about the approach. I think you just try to learn, all right, what can you do better to maximize each day? Be more efficient with your time. How do you allocate it specific to offense, defense, special teams? And then, also continuing to just get a feel for the team. We got so many players right now that it's about building and developing those relationships, but we always look at tweaking the schedule, but I think more about, it's more about just being efficient with the time that you do have, Lindsay, than anything else.
Marcus Peters is a guy who is going into a contract season. Is there anything to be said about the fact that he is here and he's not in a contract, he's not a holdout?
Well, I think it's a credit to him. He loves being around here. That's the one thing you love about Marcus and a lot of our players is they love competing, they love football, and you see him out here. He's one of those guys. He's always got a good juice and a nice swagger about himself, and I think he wants to put himself in a position to have a great season. I thought the way that he ended last year gives him a lot of positive momentum to build off of that, and if he does, then there's going to be a lot of good things that happen for the Rams and Marcus Peters.
Sean, I know you're going to take a look at the film, but you've got two young linemen, Joseph and Brian, that need to be ready to go. Do you feel like they're where they need to be?
I think it's too early to really say that. I think we're confident in them, Vinny. I think like anything else, really for those guys up front especially, putting the pads on is the best indicator, but their understanding of what we're trying to get done, Brian's communication, and then, just physically Joe looking like he's in a really good position. Feel good about those guys, knowing that there's a long way to go, but there's a reason why we have a lot of confidence in them, but they certainly have to earn it every day.
Sean,
This is the last one, guys.
Dakota Allen kind of comes into camp with a little bit of a profile from his appearance on the Last Chance U.
Yep.
What have you seen from him coming into camp, and what does he have to do to make the team?
I think really just compete to the best of his ability. He was limited with some of the things that prevented him from competing as much as you'd like in the offseason, but he looks healthy. He's feeling good. He was a guy that really, he's got great instincts and awareness. I think he's a guy that you could potentially see be a guy that contributes for Bones, but these younger guys, really it's a great opportunity for them to carve a role out for themselves. I don't think you ever want to set them into a role, but there was certainly a skill set that we liked on tape, and he's got a nice way about himself too. I think that's the one thing, these guys enjoy being around him. This team has a nice feel about it. We're going to continue to come together throughout camp, but I love these guys and looking forward to seeing Dakota continue to grow.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you guys.
Sean.